Okay, this is video 3 of the drum's false flags. Okay, now in the Syrian false flag attack of the chemical attack. At a time when ISIS was being how strange, ISIS was being defeated by the Syrian army and the Russian army, and now the drum wants to go in and attack ISIS. Why? They already been defeated. They already been destroyed. And he wants to do it under a mountain of bloody children. The bloody children in Syria and the bloody children in America. There was the false flag that happened in San Bernardino, and the false flag that happened that threatened the children in San Bernardino, and the false flag that threatened the children in the gas tank in Syria. So now the drunk is going to ride in there like John Wayne, and he's going to save them. He's going to save the children of the world, right? Like he's going to make America great again by escalating the military, right? By building up. Further building up the military-industrial complex, right? Yeah, that's how he's going to save the world. He's going to save the world. I mean, he's going to make America great again by nuclear proliferation and greater debt, and ignoring the danger that the dollar is in, and the collapsing of the dollar and the welfare state, and increasing your insurance deductibles, and increasing tax, right? And giving more foreign aid to the king of refugees, and military hardware to the Wahhabis, and who gives it to what? The ISIS. They're ISIS, they're Wahhabist ISIS. They're not jihadist jihadists, they're Wahhabist. They're Wahhabist, who comes out of the dynasty of Al Saud, right? Okay. Now, so you need to choose your side. Are you going to serve the prophet born of a virgin, or are you going to serve the drum? It's as plain and simple as that. If you serve the prophet born of a virgin, then you serve the creator of all the creation. If you serve the drum, then you serve the synagogue of Satan. And that's it, America. That is it. This is it. If you serve, separating the wheat from the tares, okay? The wheat serves the prophet born of a virgin. The tares serves the idiotic chaos, satanic synagogue of Satan, headed by the drum, and the Antichrist Baron Dajjal, to which, okay? It's plain and simple. Who you gonna serve? You're gonna serve in the drum's Confederate rebel army, okay? Spiritually rebel army that's serving the synagogue of Satan. And that's the bottom line. Ask yourself, is that how you're going to make America great again, serving Satan, the synagogue of Satan? The Zionist synagogue of Satan? Okay? The British Zionist synagogue of Satan. The Rothschild Zionist synagogue of Satan. Okay? The Rothschild Vatican Zionist synagogue of Satan. That's who you're going to serve. Headed by the drum. Okay? And his Confederate rebel Antichrist army. Ask your goddamn self. Okay, that's the bottom line. Okay, so okay. Now, so serving the drums is going to send one to damnation and eternal hell, right? Again, I ask, as the drum asks, what do you have to lose when you serve and you support the British Confederate rebel occult Israeli synagogue, British synagogue of Satan, Rothschild Vatican synagogue of Satan? What do you got to lose when you serve Satan? All you got to ask, when the drunk asks what do you got to lose, ask yourself, what do you got to lose when you serve Satan? When you serve the outcast spirit? Okay, you lose your soul. That's what you got to lose when you serve the drunk. You got your soul to lose. Okay? One will not only lose their lives, but their souls as well. This was the reason to front the Syrian false flag attack on children. Where was Sisi when the Wahhabis, where was Sisi, where was Egyptian Sisi and the Wahhabis, the dynasty of Al Saud, the Wahhabis, ISIS? Where was the king of refugees in Transjordan when in 2014, Ramadan 2014, when the British, when Rothschild, British Israeli convert synagogue of Satan attacked the thousands of children in Palestine, in Gaza, Palestine's Gaza? Where were they then? Where are they when they're trying to annex the Al-Aqsa Mosque? They ain't nowhere to be found. They ain't caring about children then. They ain't caring about the scourge then. You know. But now they run into the aid of the Drumpf. Because the Drumpf, they have to support the Drumpf because they've been supporting the synagogue of Satan all along. Okay? The synagogue of Satan is the one that established the Wahhabist house of dynasty of Al Saud. Okay? Okay. They've been supporting him all along by repressing their people. They're dictators. They've been repressing. Sisi's a dictator. A Zionist dictator. Transjordan is a dictator. The king of refugees is a dictator. The dynasty is a dictator. But they ain't saying nothing about that. They will repress and kill their people. Sisi's been repressing people. In fact, he came into power as a result of basically a military coup. Well, he did come into power, position of presidency. Sisi became, the Egyptian president came into power as a result of his position as a result of a military coup of overthrowing the democratically elected government of Morsi. Okay? And further than that, he came up the military chain as a result of a so-called plane crash of those military individuals who had more military rank than he did. Had they have not died, he wouldn't be in the position. He wouldn't have been promoted to the position of a general because there were others ahead of him. But because they conveniently died in a plane crash, it gave him a higher position in a higher, ranking position in the military. So that's convenient, right? Okay. And it made him perfectly in line in time for becoming the president of Egypt, right in time, sync with the Drumpf, whom he had met prior to him coming to Washington at this time. Okay? They met way prior to even Sisi becoming, the dictator, the new dictator of Egypt, right? Okay, so where was he where was Sisi, the so-called Muslim Egyptian president, when the Wahhabis, and the Wahhabis, where was the Wahhabis when the Zionists attacked when they killed children then? What was the Drumpf when the Zionists killed children in 2014? He didn't give a damn, but now suddenly he cares for children. They all care for children now. It's all about the children. We've got to think of the children, but he ain't thinking about the children and the deficit they got to pay back. He ain't thinking about the environment. He ain't thinking about the water. He ain't thinking about the modified foods they got to eat. He ain't thinking about, the collapsing of the economy that the children got to face. He ain't thinking about the debtor's prison. He ain't thinking about all those children that are incarcerated. But he cares way across the ocean, across the world, for 60 some odd children, 69 children who were attacked in a false flag. So now he got to invade Syria to avenge those children. Okay, but he ain't giving a damn about the half of the country being on food stamps. Okay, he ain't caring about the poverty of children here. He don't care about the deductibles that the medical expenses, that the children, their families have to pay, from their many times their minimum wage jobs. Okay, and when they get sick, they can't even afford to pay the deductibles, so they can't even go to the hospital. He ain't caring about that. He ain't caring about the poor educational system. He don't give a fuck about that. But that affects children too. But is he caring? No. He ain't caring about the like I said, the collapsing of the dollar. He ain't caring about the economy. Does that affect children in America? But the 69 children over there in Syria, how convenient. Okay? Okay? Okay, so and the Wahhabis didn't care about okay. So I said that, okay. 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 So the Wahhabis dynasty, okay. So they don't care about the children. CC don't care about the children. Wahhabis dynasty don't care about the children. The House of El Salvador, they care about their position, right? The Jordanian British King of Refugees, condemnation, and loud collective battle cry for 1,000. He didn't care about the 1,000s of Palestinian children and babies when the British Israeli imposters, okay, Rothschild Vatican British Israeli imposters were causing genocide in Palestine in 2014. Where was his outcry for those children? Okay, but he migrated all the way to America, not migrated, but he traveled all the way to America to support Trump, at a convenient time of the false flag in Syria, whereby 69 children were gassed. And how convenient 69, going back to that 69, we just went through the 69, right? It was 9 in the east, and it was 6 in the west, so it was 69, right? And we went through the Galactic Center, right? Okay, those dates. Okay, so that's quite interesting. We have this new false flag in California at the time of this Libra new full moon, right? And they always do something on at a celestial event, right? So they did the false flag before representing being at the Galactic Center, Saturn being at the Galactic Center, and the false flag in California at this full moon. Okay. Okay. Now, okay, they want to program that negative energy into the environment, into the celestial sphere, so it come back as karma, and humanity absorb it, and then subconsciously they act that violence out, okay, amongst each other, and then that violence can be harnessed, that negative energy can be harnessed for the use of such activities as destroying other nations, right? And attacking for war. They're warmongers, right? So you got to be careful of that. Okay, how they try to harness energy, right? As I said, they try to program negative energy by doing negative events and people having negative thoughts, not negative thoughts, but very, emotional thoughts about angry thoughts about the events that take place. That's why they have the false flag, so people get angry. This energy is released. It's absorbed in the universe. Then the universe sends it back as karma. It comes back as karma. Humanity absorbs it. They feel it. They feel the anger. Then the anger is harnessed and is channeled to do, to support war. Because they're already angry, right? Because they were angry and the energy was released into the universe. Now that anger comes back, and the Zionist Rothschild Synagogue of Satan harnesses that energy, and they channel it to provoke the people to support war. Okay? That's what they do, and that's why they have these false flags, and that's why you got to be careful to understand the events, when they happen. So when your heart is bled, to support the warmongers and the destruction of your own, humanity, you will be wise in being able to understand how you're being emotionally, spiritually, and psychologically, spiritually, and physically manipulated, okay, brainwashed, and also programmed. Okay, now, so they didn't, the CC and House of El Saud, who were supposed to be Muslim, they didn't care about the Palestinian children being killed, right? Then that was thousands, not 69. The Trump didn't even give a damn. And as I said, Trump ain't giving a damn about American people. The high debt the children have to face, the deficit they have to pay, the cost of education they have to pay, the no job to be found, welfare state. That affects all children. Incarceration among, and the high incarceration rate. They ain't giving a damn about that. That affects children. Okay, all of that. Okay? Okay. So British Israelite, the British Israelite converts, the Rothschild British Vatican Israeli converts, Synagogue of Satan converts, currently occupying Palestine and oppressing the Palestinian nation. The Sisi didn't give a fuck about them. Okay, in fact, what he did, he tried to block their means from escaping the terrorists, the terrorist occupation of Palestine. He tried to to block the people from fleeing the attack on them. He tried to block them from escaping the missiles that were coming in, destroying their land, their lives, and their homes. He tried to block them from leaving Palestine and making them, basically succumb to death, by preventing them from escaping and coming into Egypt. He blocked the means by which, let's say the roads that would lead into Egypt. He blocked he prevented them from entering to prevent them from entering Egypt to gain safety. To seek safety, refuge rather. But now they have a refugee camp, right? And that's called what? Transjordan, to which the king of refugees is going to be given what? Foreign aid, right? And if you think that foreign aid is going to be gone to help the people, no, it's going to his pocket, right? Okay, to help his little drumpy children, right? Okay, so where is the Transjordanian British fighting spirit to retain his own native home? He doesn't have that. His homeland of Hijab. He don't have no fighting spirit. Where's the fighting spirit to protect children in general in Palestine when they were being killed? He didn't even raise his voice. Didn't say nothing about it. It was just another day, right? Despite it was in Ramadan, the holiest month of all. Where was the El Saud's voice? Despite it was the dynasty of El Saud voice. Despite it was against the genocide that was taking place in 2014. They didn't give a fuck. Okay, but that was children too. Those were children too. Okay, but the 69, 70 in Syria. Oh boy, that's an alarm going off, right? That's like the world coming into an end. That gives them opportunity to enter, right? To try to go in Syria, right? It was a false flag for a means by which they hope to get into Syria, right? Okay. So the king of refugees is simply a transient king with a land. With a land, and he is to oversee within a particular piece of partitioned land or annexed land, and he's to oversee the Muslim refugees as they flee those nations that are attacked by the Rothschild, the Gentile Christian Rothschild, the Gentile barbarian Christian Rothschild, Khazar Vatican, British Israeli Synagogue of Satan, damnation of converts. Okay? Satanic converts. Okay? Okay? So he's to oversee those refugees as they flee. He would be like the new Hitler. That's the new Hitler. The king of the king of the transients. I mean, the king of the refugees will be the new Hitler, because if all those people come into that land, what do you think he's going to do with them? He's going to exterminate them too, like Hitler did. Okay, so that's what will probably happen. Jordan will become the new Germany, by which people or Muslims are to enter, thinking they're going to see. It's like a roach motel. Go in, but they won't come out. Okay, they're to go in seeking refuge and find otherwise there, right? Because how can he sustain if Europe can't sustain him? Okay, then how? And America can't sustain them either, because what? America's economy is collapsing. America has such a big deficit. America can't afford it. Okay, so and if the king of transient, the king of transients, I mean the transient king of refugees is supposed to has no means to support him of his own. He's receiving foreign aid. How's he gonna support him? Okay. Okay, going to be a lot of chaos in that country, right? So what's he going to use to control the chaos? Because there's already a bunch of Palestinians there who are seeking refuge, right? So now we got coming from Syria, they'll be coming from Egypt, they'll be coming from all over. How's he going to control all that? Those multi-diverse populations. It's going to be force, right? Give him more military force, right? I mean military weaponry, right? To control it. Okay, so they're going to be control camps, just like Hitler's was. So the Transjordan is to be the transient king of refugees is to be the new Hitler. Okay, oh no, the new Hitler's killer guy, Fisher, whatever his name was. I know his last name was Fisher. Okay, he's going to be his fisherman, right? Okay. Now, and he, okay, and he's to keep his mouth shut, okay, just like a good pot-bellied pig slut, okay, porker slut, doing exactly as he is deposed to do, not a damn thing, but take it up the ass, just like all the other dictators were supposed to do when repressing the humanity within their borders, okay, by containing humanity, forcefully restraining humanity within their oppressive borders, okay? So they're to take orders and shut their mouths, keep their mouths shut, okay? And take it up the ass, the commands up the ass, like all the others, sons, some of bitches, douchebags, paid by American Rothschild tax dollars that are given to the Federal Reserve System, given to Rothschild through the Federal Reserve System, as America borrows money from the Federal Reserve System and to be paid back by Americans, okay, and from their money they receive from what? Their little minimum wage jobs. They got to pay the taxes, they got to pay their deductibles, they got to pay higher housing costs, and they can barely do that, and they can't even afford food. But they got to pay for the refugees in Syria. I mean the refugees in British Transjordan. They got to pay for the foreign aid given to Israel. They got to pay for the foreign aid, military foreign aid given to, and protection given to the dynasty of Saud. They got to pay for the military and foreign aid given to, and protection given to Egypt. Okay, but all America's wealth is being spread all over the world. It's like America got to spread its legs, right, and give its power to everybody else, but it can't keep its own power. It can't utilize its own. It can't have access to its own power to empower itself. Right? Okay. It's got to give all its wealth to support the Zionist Israel. Right? The British Zionist Synagogue of Satan, Israel. Right? Israeli Synagogue of Satanic Israel, Israeli converts. Okay? Okay. Okay. So, let me see where we are. Yeah, Americans' plates are to remain empty, while the Zionist plates are to remain full, while the while the King of the Refuge plates are to remain full, while the House of Dynasty of El Saud's plates are to remain full. America's are to go to the social service to get the food stamps to get their food, and that's another form of control, right? Because you're controlled when you're on social service. Have to report all your income. Have to report everything that's basically going on in your lives, in your house, right? Who's getting what, when, where, and why, and how, right? Can't make every dollar you make above $1 is taken. You can't never have $2 at once. You got to only have $1. But yet, every dollar you earn extra, okay, it's got to be taken and delegated to what? The House of Saud, or Dynasty of Saud, foreign aid, or military expense, increase of the military industrial complex, to create more war, to borrow more money, to further create debt, to which the future generations, all of tomorrow's generations, have to pay for, and he's caring about the children. Okay. They won't have no food on their plate, and they won't have no jobs, right? And there won't be no welfare. So what the fuck Americans gonna do? And if you think Israel, the British Israel, gonna give you something back, they taking it from you now. Okay. 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 So from 1979. Okay. From 1979, which was the beginning of the celestial pregnancy, we talked about that, until now, the time of Muharram 1439, which will be September 23rd. Okay, on the Islamic calendar, and on the Gregorian calendar, it will be what? September 23rd. It is 40 years, right? It was 40 years. It equals 40 years. It's a duration of 40 years. Okay? So, and that is prophecy fulfilled, right? Because what to say about the children of Jacob, and I'm not talking about Israel, the children of Jacob, the nation of Jacob, they would stay in the wilderness for 40 years, right? 40 years is up. By Muharram 1439, September 23rd, 2017 will be the 40 year period ended. It will be 40 years, and that will be the children returning home, coming out of the wilderness, and that's what those Zionists are trying to perpetrate. And what's his name? Netanyahu tried to call all the Zionists home, not the Jews, because Jews are not Zionists. Jews are not Zionists. Okay, Zionists are Wahhabist and British, the British Synagogue of Satan, occupying Palestine under the guise of Israel. Okay, they're not Jews. Okay, Jews are not Zionist. Okay, so anyway, Jews are our brothers and our sisters. Okay, so anyway, so the prophecy will be fulfilled, and we are to return home, and that is why Revelations 12:12 is appearing. It's a sign that the prophet's going to return to lead the people, okay, out of bondage, Okay? Out of bondage to who? Who got them in bondage? The Rothschilds, right? The Zionists, right? The banking cabals, right? Commercial bondage. Okay, they're to return home to what? Their right spirit, their nature, right? To worship the Creator, right? Out of commercial reality and into true reality, right? And he's to come when? 7 years after the sign. So the prophet born of a virgin is to appear 2024-25, right? So they are well aware of what's going on, right? So we'll just go to video 4.